Hi, here is the second part of our handmade sketchbook cover tutorial. You probably already watched the first part, but if not, the link is just here and in the description box below. In this second part, which is also the last video of the series, I am showing you how to attach the sketchbook to the cover, and I am putting the final touches to my India travel journal. Enjoy the video! I have the colorful paper. I'm not sure I'm going to put really big pieces, maybe just a little something. I'm going to tear a little piece of paper to work with. The yellow one and the pink one. The paper is thicker at some parts and thinner at some other parts because that's so artisanal. So I was wondering how it would look, for example, if I add a piece of paper behind the bill, but the bill is quite thin and maybe it's going to be messy if I do this kind of thing. So no, I'm not going to keep this idea. What about putting another piece of map in here? Or a flower. Sleep is the best meditation, the Dalai Lama. This could be fun. I said that maybe the lace could be fun on the spine. So I hope you are not too sorry about this bag they gave us. I was sure I wouldn't use it. I kept it for a few months like that. And finally I started using a bit of lace for some art pieces I made, evoking the India travel. And for me, this is so much better, and I like it so much more in my art pieces or in my sketchbook than as a bag. So I guess that's the main thing, that with a few pieces and in my art, just the way I like it. So I think that's not a waste, that's just my creative way to repurpose it. It's a bit of a work to try to get the fabric out of it, so just trying to cut the sewing. This front view is such a mess. Woo! Full creativity. I don't know how this is going to. Oh yeah, you can just remove it that way. Sometimes just pull a bit hard and yeah, wonderful. I feel like a savage. So I have my 3 pieces of lace left. I can already tell that these two are the same color scheme and they work rather well with the orange and bright paper. I would say that this one is more a pastel color and it could be okay with the flower in here, but maybe a bit more girly. I would maybe prefer using the brighter ones. So the question was, should I? So I could. When you are not sure about something, that's really simple. Just do the things you are sure about, and then you will figure out later for the other things. So I think the idea of the lace on the spine is quite fun, so I'm going to do it. The lace seems slightly larger than my spine. And I had this idea that probably at some point I will attach this to the sketchbook. For the spine to be pretty, I need some colors at the top and at the bottom, so I will probably going to add a piece of this paper. So let's start doing this. Doesn't need to be too big, and the other pieces is going to be useful for the other side. Here we are. Glue. And then a piece of lace. Pretty fun! So I'm going to be really generous with the glue, even more than for the other thing. So I put some glue, you know, in order that it's a bit of going in the little crease of the fabric. And once again, a lot of glue to the side. I have to be sure it's not going to be on the way. I usually add some information on here. Maybe just at the top I could write down India 2017. But this will be obvious enough, I think. So I still have to figure out about the bill and will I add the flower. So yeah, I'm going to cut it. So of course I am still wondering about this. Maybe as there is this colorful thing in the cover, what if I put some pieces of colors just a bit that way? I think the contrast is maybe a bit too strong with the other part of the cover and a bit overwhelming. But oh yeah, I just remember. I like also to make some little covers on the sketchbook so that it looks a bit more like a book, like an old dictionary or something. So I think, yeah, it's going to be the perfect use for this paper, this adorable little corner. So should I make all the corners the same color? Or maybe just using both colors because I like both. So let's make the corner. I try to remember. So they're going to be a bit that way. The paper is a bit thick to do it, so I hope it's going to be okay. And so when you fold it, there is a little piece out there that you have to cut out. Oh yeah. Try to remember the shape that the paper have to make this corner. It seems to work. So I'm going to make another orange one. So I'm going to make 2 orange ones and 2 pink ones. If they are not exactly the same size, doesn't matter. So I will use 1 pink and 1 orange corner to each side and a lot of glue. So I put a lot of glue so that it enters in the crease of the paper. Yeah, it's not going to be that easy to make this thick paper all in here. I just check, yeah, seems okay. I'm going to fold it a bit and then I will add some glue at the top. So the pink one, or at least these pieces of the pink one, is slightly thinner. So here it is. And so for the other side I will do the reverse. I'm going to put the pink at the top and the orange at the bottom. Pink at the top. So for now the inside is really not so pretty. I may put a piece of tape or something all around. And yeah, there is a question about attaching the cover to the sketchbook too. I'm going to show you that as well, of course. I think it's really start to take shape. I am wondering if there is maybe too much color in here, and I like how the color can focus on the spine and the little corner. So I may paste another piece of paper in here. So it could be a big writing of the newspaper. Maybe you Indian people are going to tell me, oh, but that's awful, the writing on your sketchbook, you have to paste something else on it. Please tell me if it's too awful, if it's just something random like politic or something. I just do with it, I guess. But an occasion for me to say hi to you Indian people following me. I know you are quite a few. I'm looking forward to share with you my whole sketchbook with all the pages and a few video shots and photos and all this India atmosphere. I liked it so much. If I'm not sure about the text, I can put it upside down. And it worked quite well that way. Yeah, I think that's nice. So the bill and the flower. So the flower is going to be slightly underneath the bill. You know, I keep the bill so that I know exactly where the flower has to be. Glue everywhere. 10 rupees are just no money at all, but the bill is so lovely. I mean, if you want to give a tip or something, you usually are going to give maybe 200 or something. So can you imagine 10 rupees? It was even difficult to get, so as soon as I got a few, I just put them aside to be sure. So it can be one kind of travel journal trick. As soon as you can get something, especially if in the money and you have the small bills you are able to keep for your travel journal, just put them aside right away, because you never know if you will have the same bills again. I'm wondering if the travel journal needs a title, you know, should I write down India or something, or isn't it necessary? Maybe this is not the best, so I could hide it with something. I have this kind of lovely envelope with a lovely elephant. I'm going to tear it. I bought this set of envelope in these lovely market streets I liked so much, just so narrow and busy and with everything. So many treasures to find at every corner. I didn't do a lot of shopping, but it was so wonderful just to walk around and to discover. So this would be too big for here. I already have the elephant, so maybe this one could do on the cover, or maybe I will cut all around it. Yeah. That's really enjoyable for me to share my creative sessions with you. It gives me the impression that we are together, and that I'm just not alone at home doing the thing, but just, you know, sharing and communicating creative pleasure of making stuff, playing with paper, colors, and trying to express something. Here it is, yeah, it can be nice. I'm going to wait for it just, you know, to figure out regarding to other things I want to add. I'm wondering if the cover should have something colorful just in here. Not so bold and wide, that's the paper I tried previously, but it could be something like this tape, which is quite alike to the flower, and I remember I used it in my sketchbook too, so I guess I bought it before India. And see, I use it in here to attach these pages together. So I'm going to try to see how it looks. It's orange and yeah, I think it can be really nice. Just putting it in the little crease, and it can make the link between the two parts of the sketchbook. This creative process is so fascinating. You just don't know at the beginning how it's going to be, and an idea brings another idea, a color brings another color, and this is so rich. Yeah, I like how it works with the spine. This is quite a lot of pink, but why not? So I have to figure out what can be the final touches for the cover, and then I will work on attaching it and the other final touches that are a bit of a ribbon to close it and everything, but for now just finishing on the surface of the sketchbook. Here there is an India text, even with the plain, I don't know. It's never hurt to take the piece. Still tearing some paper. So I'm not sure about the plain, that just to try, but yeah, the India could be nice in here, because with the plain it would be, yeah, a bit too heavy. I don't want so much color and a bit too long. I was not so happy with this part, so yeah, it seems nice. Maybe I can just put another piece of something just aside. There was this colorful writing, having a sort of background thing to go with it. Not so sure about the colors. Just trying removing the blue. So this is a bit big, but that's quite pretty, and it can balance the other one. That's a bit of a shame. It's hiding a few things, but you know, that's a creative process, and at the end something like this tree out there is going to be quite hidden too. Yeah, this one is to the left, so this one could be more to the right, and I would cut a piece so that it seams underneath. Gluing time again. Maybe you could add a little piece of the tape, yeah, for the interest around where India, and maybe with a bit of orange and pink too. It's just a detail, but details goes a long way. And I am using the overview of the other camera to try to get a sense of the whole. That's not so easy, and so for sketching and even for this cover work, a really good tip is to take some work in progress photo. And I realized that taking some photos for my Instagram, and you kind of have a step back, and when you see the little photo of the sketch you are working on, or in this case of the cover, it's easier to figure out how the balance is, how is the composition. So it's a really nice tip to try to get the overview, and maybe sometimes you realize that your sketch is just already really nice and that you have to stop really soon, or that the cover lacks a bit of something here and there. So think about using this tip for your next creation. It creates some materials you can share with the people that like what you are doing, and it's useful for the creation too. And it's a bit of a record, really interesting as well. Here it is. I'm going to glue my elephant out there like I wanted to. Why not adding a little piece of tape near my elephant? Still wondering if I could add a little piece of something in here. And why not my little heart that I lost to the other side, with or without the yellow. So little hearts, maybe with another piece of this colorful newspaper. I just made myself a chai tea with some spices I bought in Agra, I think. So it smells so good, that's so delicious. I don't know how I didn't thought before to make this while working on my cover. So I think it's quite good. I realized that the cover is just a bit bended. I think that's because of the glue is really wet, and as I used a lot of glue, I don't know if you can see how bended it is. What I was going to do is putting some weight on it just overnight, and I will keep the tutorial tomorrow by attaching the cover to the sketchbook. We will figure out if it's flattened or if it's just that way because of the gluing. If it doesn't flatten more, that's okay, but I can take a chance so that it can be just slightly flatter. So see you tomorrow, which is going to be for you just right now. It has been a few days finally that my cover is under some weight to flatten, so I am going to check now if it's really flat, and we are going to attach it to our sketchbook. Here it is, that's so exciting to see it again. Yeah, it's probably flatter. I think I could still feel a slight curve, but not so much. So I would say if you feel that it could bother you, probably just put the first layer that at the end of the first video, and then maybe put it underneath some weight right away, and you can make the embellishment later, but probably put it under weight right away while it's still a bit wet, can help the cardboard to be flatter. As for me, I think it won't really show, so I am not so bothered about it. Before attaching the cover to the sketchbook, I may try to put a tape just all around the inside of the cover. I bought these two wide pinkish tapes earlier, so I was thinking I would try to hide a bit of my mess inside the cover. I don't know if they are going to be quite opaque, which would be the best, or a bit transparent, because with tape sometimes you don't know. It seems colorful when it's all together, and then when you put it, it's not so much. It won't probably hide the thing underneath, but it can give a nice cheerful look and enhance a bit the look inside of the cover. So should I choose the pink or the purplish? Both are nice. The pink is closer than the corner and this color, and the other one is a nice match with the tape colors too. I think that maybe it can be more fun to have one more color that goes together. That's quite crazy, because on this tape I had this pink, orange and purplish magenta. It's matched quite nicely with the spine lace, and the tape I'm going to use just afterward, it's just almost the same color with a bit of yellow, but you still have this kind of pink, purple and orange match. I guess maybe that's something that I am into it. But I didn't plan at all to make all these matches color together and to have the right tape and everything. But that's what I like so much in the process. You are not sure at the beginning, and then an idea, another idea, and something that goes perfectly with it. And that's kind of sort of random, but you try to make it work, and sometimes it's like magic. So let's try this tape. It's a tape for moving boxes, so that you don't lose your boxes and you know maybe which room it is or anything. But it will be on my India sketchbook. A very good use of it. I think my scissors are not so bad in the match too. Yeah! But I'm not going to put the scissors on the cover. So I'm going to cut it at an angle. Maybe the triangle would find an use somewhere. Hey, it covers quite well. I was thinking it would be thinner and more transparent, but it's very good. Here it is. That's bold! Let's be bold! And with this shiny effect, not like the masking tape, maybe it's even more cheerful. Ai catchy! So I follow my angle for the tape to see which is the next piece I have to put. I eyeball a bit the angle. So here it is, and here is how it's going to look with the sketchbook inside. Seems quite heavy and sturdy, even more of course with the cover. And now you wait for it, attaching time! So I don't glue the sketchbook in the cover. I think probably when you glue the spine or something you do it with fabric, but you can't really glue your sketchbook in the cover like that, because if you do so, this prevents the page and the spine to move. I'm going to show you on this smaller old sketchbook that I made earlier. When you open the sketchbook, you can see that this is not attached to the spine of the cover, and that the paper needs some room to move and gets a bit higher when you flip through the sketchbook. So to get this effect, we are not going to glue it on the spine, but we are going to tape it to the side of the cover. Sometimes people, or in some books we buy, just glue a piece of paper from the cover to the sketchbook, and this can hold the book. I don't do that because I always forgot to leave the first page without anything, so I can't really glue something on it, and that's sometimes more difficult to have a big piece to glue in, so I just make that with a large piece of tape. For this use, because this is quite something heavy, and I had some problem earlier by just using the same kind of masking tape I used earlier, which is not the stronger to hold something, and for this use you need something strong. I would recommend to use some kind of fabric tape that you can often use in some art stores, so really strong tape. And in fact, when I bought so this one I showed you earlier, I bought it because I thought it was pretty, and I was thinking that's a bit like the masking tape or like the other one, and when I used it the first time I was so surprised that it was so strong, and you have this kind of strong glue. And that's also why I used it for my kind of handmade brush case. Maybe you recognized it earlier, because this holds really well. So I don't want to tape my little green parrot feather, but I'm going to try to put the tape between the two. If you can think about it, that's better to try to keep a bit more room to the left of your first page for the tape. I don't really have a miracle technique to hold a bit the cover on the sketchbook while you are taping. I usually try to put something the other side, but you need something not too high but a bit heavy. Maybe this ink box. Yeah, that's not so bad. So, you check if the cover is the right direction, of course. And then strong taping time. So I'm going to cut it first. So you can try to put it half and half, depending of if you drawn quite a lot on the first page. A bit like for the outside of the cover, I tape a bit one side just on the sketchbook, then I try to put the cover really close, checking a bit the height, and then try not to tape it too close, just put it a bit on the gap so that the sketchbook has a bit some place to move. And then I just cut this one. This really looked like a frame, so I will definitely paste something in it. I still have a few things that I have to add in the sketchbook, and so I will see which kind of thing I left. But even just a book page, just pasted it and maybe with something on it could seem perfect. Or it can be something smaller, a bit like the elephant or the little vizier the other side, and just to make a little touch. So I will keep working on it afterwards while checking that I didn't miss anything. So now I have to attach the other side. The sketchbook is so big, my spine may be just slightly small, but okay. This is a curling tape time! Dun, dun, dun. I have to tame it. Here it is. So, taping it on one side. And as usual, in the little crease. Here we are. Ta-da-dum, ta-da-dum. And because it's a handmade thing and it's a bit big and heavy, and I am not a professional bookmaker, the journal stands a bit to spring open, like that. So that's why I put a lovely ribbon all around. I kept thinking about this thing I talked about earlier. Oh, I was about to say that I would remove a few pom-pom. Finally I decided I wouldn't attach it anywhere on the sketchbook or something, but that I would use it in my approach to close it. I'm going to keep only the pink thing to the end and to use just this as a thread. I always used some kind of upcycled ribbons for my sketchbooks, so I usually keep this kind of little ribbon that they put on shirts and everything when you buy them, but I don't use them to hang my thing. As I like to be creative with my material, it doesn't even bother me when it's too small and I just make a knot and it's make a bigger one. So that's what I am going to do with my Indian things. So I am going to use this. I still have my golden shiny thread that I can use and which is long enough. I'm going to use this to get the length. Maybe this kind of pink one could be really nice. This is about one day I bought a few so that I can have a bit more choice for the colors. So what we are going to do with the ribbons or thread or everything is that we are going to attach it just at the end of the cover, maybe with a piece of tape that is left from what I just did, and then the ribbon will be all around the cover. I have my title India that is just here. I would like to pay attention so that the ribbon is just not at the top, but it can be just a bit lower or a bit higher. Probably higher, it's closer to the middle. I don't want it to seem weird, even like that it seems okay. I am starting with these two together, so I want some pieces that are long enough. And the secret secure taping method that my father taught me is that you start taping your ribbon, but keeping a little tail the other side. And then if you fold this tail, which is a bit too big, and tape it again at the top, this is going to prevent that if you pull the thread the other side, it would slip under the tape. But if you fold it like that and tape it with a kind of strong tape, this kind of loop and the double taping will prevent it to move away. So I'm going to use this piece that was a leftover earlier. So I fold my little tail of ribbon and I tape this at the top with my strong tape. So just push on your tape so that it's really holding really well. Yeah. So the idea is that the little thread is going to be to turn around the bigger one and giving a bit of the shiny look that can be nice with my elephant. And at some point I'm going to attach a bit this. I would like this to come a bit at the end of my ribbon, something like that, and the ribbon will be a bit shorter, so I cut it at an angle because it's usually prettier. So I don't necessarily want that everything has the same length, so I can make one shorter, one longer. And this one, I'm going to attach it a bit in here. So I usually do that with kind of thinner ribbon. I guess I can just make a knot with this one. I like it even when there are knots everywhere. So this is one knot and another one with a little tail. Here it is. So now we have all our ribbon together that came that way. And to close the sketchbook, I just put the end of my ribbon like that, and it usually just works just in here. It's a bit stuck and it make your sketchbook just hold together. I guess you could put a button or something, but I don't have any. I think like that, that's already a nice way to do. I really hope you liked this whole series of tutorials to make your own journal, and especially these two videos about the cover. I know that a lot of you already started to make your own sketchbooks and journals, so that's really exciting. Please keep sharing with me your feedback and keep showing me your journals on Facebook or everywhere, on Instagram too, so that I can enjoy them and see how it went for you to follow them. Once again, I have too much ideas of video and projects, but I will try to show you the inside of my India sketchbook quite soon. If you're new here, I would really recommend that you follow that way to rabbit with us, because it's such an amazing creative adventure and so much fun. So yeah, feel free to hit the subscribe button and the little bell to be sure to get notified of the video, and always fight for the creative side of the force. See you soon!